Welcome to another episode of We Gotta Unpack This Ish, okay? With your girl, Jazzy, the Galactic Goddess, your homegirl, Oracle, and the mom that has lived through the mess and is still trying to figure out her damn life. And I want to thank you for being here for another episode as we are going to unpack postpartum depression, okay? Let me share a little story with you. So I have a homegirl. Our homegirls have other friends. And she was letting me know about a conversation she had with her friend, where her friend felt the need. And mind you, this woman has no kids at all, never been married, completely single, and about around my age. And I'm 40, so I think she's a little bit younger than me. But here's the thing, she felt the need to bring up this subject matter about moms. And I'm so proud of my friend for standing up for us mothers because she's not a mother herself either. So the friend decided to talk about, and what it sounded like to me, bashing mothers. She was saying she didn't understand how we don't have time to take care of our kids, and that if she had kids, it wouldn't be that hard because she's managed people, including elderly people, in a nursing home, I guess, and feels like that's not hard to do. Mind you, she has no kids. Then she proceeded to talk about postpartum depression, saying that she didn't think it was real, that she doesn't understand why mothers get this way, and that the job is just not that hard. Now, my lovely friend stepped in and said, well, I'm not going to speak on this matter because I don't have kids. I do have friends that have kids, and I watch what they're doing. And if a mother is not capable of taking a shower or taking time for herself, well, that's subjective to that mother and what she's going through, because she said kids are not a 9 to 5. She specifically pointed out to her friend that you go to work from 9 to 5 and you clock out and you go home, and then you have all the time to yourself. She said children are 365 a day, you know, and that your job never ends. And I said, thank you for standing up for us, because it's one thing to want to talk about, like, wow, I don't understand how mothers are able to do this, versus bashing mothers, because apparently, I guess one of her friends has a newborn and I guess was venting to her about her struggles with taking care of the baby and being able to have time for herself. And this woman basically went to my friend to bash what it's like to be a mother. And so it had me thinking. So, what we're going to unpack, we're going to unpack my adventure with postpartum. And yes, it's an adventure. And for some of you guys, I hope you don't get offended by my commentary, because I am the kind of person that I feel like if you don't laugh, you're going to cry. And the story I'm getting ready to share with you, it's not really comical, but now that it's been about 3 years since all of that happened, I kind of find the humor in it, or I just find a light way of talking about, yes, the adventure of postpartum, because it is an adventure, okay? So let's unpack this ish, okay? So I had my daughter in 2023. Never had postpartum before with my other two children. Maybe it's because I was stuck with her damn daddy and he was stressing me the hell out. Because my other two kids I had by myself, single mother, pregnancy on my own. So I don't think I went through, surprisingly, as much stress as I did being pregnant with a partner. And I thought that being pregnant with a partner would be a different experience than having two children by myself. And yes, I have three baby daddies. Okay, I racked them up. That means I have that good. I'm just kidding. But yes, I really thought it would be a different experience having a supportive partner. Well, what happens when your partner is not as supportive as you thought they would be? Because they're very immature and self centered. So, after I had my daughter, I remember when they gave me to her, I did not feel the connection with her the way that I felt with my other two children. And I think also, too, it's where I was in my life. Now, my daughter and I have an amazing relationship now. I love her. She's my little angel, and she also gets on my nerves, little baby Debo. But when I had her, I just really did not feel connected. I did not feel like she was my daughter. It was a weird experience for me. And yes, I had 3 C-sections, so that could have played a part in there too, the trauma of, having a third C-section. So once I got home, I was going through it. I wasn't getting enough sleep because my partner felt the need to sleep through every night. So I was having to get up, take care of the baby. And yes, he did have to work, and I was very understanding of that. But at the end of the day, we both chose to have this baby. So there's a little level of sacrifice that he's going to have to give as well. Well, he wasn't really giving that. He was sleeping through the night. And it was just really, really, really stressful for me. I wasn't getting enough sleep. And then when he was coming to take the baby, it was almost like he was trying to take her from me. Oh, I'll take care of her because you are not capable. Like weird vibes. And then, the mom came to visit. It was my first time meeting her, and I didn't know that I was suffering from postpartum at the time, but I was just really emotional, and I wanted her to come because I hadn't met her yet, and I wanted her to be a part of helping me out because, as new mothers, we do need that help in the first, few weeks. And instead, I was met with, oh, well, I do things like this, and, I cook the dinner for the children. Why are you not getting up? You're always in your room. Now I'm gonna be polite, but in my mind I'm like, Ish, do you not understand that I am struggling mentally? And I didn't know how to vocalize it. Now she did eventually figure out that maybe I was going through postpartum and spoke to my, estranged husband at the time, letting him know that. But here's the kicker. Because he has mental issues and he doesn't know how to deal with somebody who's emotional, he did not respond to my cries for help properly. Okay? If anything, he made me feel worse. He would get really agitated with me, you know, uh, very combative with me. There was no care, there was no understanding. And because he was being combative with me, I was being very defensive. And again, I didn't realize I was dealing with postpartum. And I ended up having a breakdown one day. I mean, a huge breakdown. And I proceeded to leave my apartment while he was there with the baby and walk. I needed to walk. I stormed. We got into an argument. It was really volatile. It was horrible. I think I ended up saying I wanted a divorce. I was not in my right mind. I was really stressed out because I felt like the support that I was asking for, it was not being given, nor was I being listened to. And yes, I was a little erratic and all over the place, but I feel like as a partner, especially for men, you need to go and research this information before your significant other has a baby. So you understand the chemical imbalance that is taking place. And that's why I didn't understand why my friend's friend decided to say, well, I don't think it's real. My friend had to let her know and educate her, like, hey, this is a hormonal imbalance that takes place, a chemical imbalance in the brain. And so it's not something for you to understand unless you've experienced it. But we need to talk about this more because people are completely uneducated about postpartum. Even I was uneducated. I mean, I learned about it in my third pregnancy as I learned about everything in all my pregnancies, but because I had never experienced it. And of course, I had empathy for women who went through that. But because I had never experienced it in my last two pregnancies, I figured, hey, I have beat the matrix here. You know what I mean? And I definitely did not. So when I stormed out of the house after arguing with him, I threw my keys and was like, I'm going to go for a walk. And this man proceeds to call my whole entire family, telling them I wanted to kill myself and all these things. Now, mind you, I might have said some really messed up stuff, but if I survived a suicide attempt in 2004 when I was 18 and I'm still here living and breathing and I have my two amazing kids, I'm not trying to kill myself. And I didn't say it in a way that made anyone feel like, I knew that I didn't say it in a way that was like, I'm going to actually do it. It was more of like when you're emotionally in a space where you're like, oh my God, I feel like I just want to die. I have these thoughts in my head that they're not good. I don't know where they're coming from. I'm seeing things, I'm feeling things. I couldn't make sense in that moment. I was in a complete fog. But mind you, I was already stressed out during the pregnancy dealing with him. Okay, I was having back issues. My third child really took a toll on my fucking body. Okay, like tore me the fuck up. And even to this day, I still deal with back issues. But I was also very stressed out by a partner who was not present, was unavailable to me, even during my pregnancy. We got into several altercations and fights about just every little thing. And I think I wrote on these expectations, and that's why you can't have expectations. I have all these expectations that this pregnancy was going to grow him up, make him a different type of partner, and was looking for that, watching too many damn movies about pregnancy and things like that. And when he wasn't meeting my expectations, it definitely threw me for a loop. And instead of me accepting him and meeting him where he was, just to kind of find peace in the pregnancy, not that I was trying to bend towards his will, but just find peace, I was battling and I was going through it, okay? And I was having to suppress a lot of what I was feeling and thinking during the pregnancy. So it all came out after I had the baby. So he called my whole family. I took a walk where I live in Atlanta. There's a lot of trails and things like that. So I went walking and I ended up talking to my sister, my baby sister. And I was just telling her what I was feeling. And she had called me. Everybody's calling me. My family's calling me like, Jasmine, you're, yelling at me. You need to go back home. And apparently he got in a car looking for me. So then when he finally finds me, mind you, I'm just walking, just trying to blow off some steam. Mind you, he's done this multiple times. When we just get in arguments, he would leave for 2-3 days, no communication, no nothing. And I would have to just sit at home with these kids, figuring out where he was, if he was alive, if he's okay, because of his own mental issues, which I seemingly ignored. Okay? Sometimes we have to hold ourselves accountable too. He was reaching out to me about certain things as well, or showing me who he really was, and I was just like, oh, whatever, I don't see that, I'm blind like Stevie Wonder, and really I needed to be more in tune with what was happening before I even got pregnant. But here we are, right? So no blame game here, just accountability on my part. So everybody's calling me, I'm ignoring their phone calls because I'm like, this is out of control. I'm just crying. I don't know what I need. I'm trying to figure it out. Anyways, he took our youngest, our daughter, and he took her to my mom's house, and then he proceeded to look for me. Kept calling my phone. My phone ended up dying, okay, because I didn't charge it. And I'm just walking, and he finds me and proceeds to follow me everywhere I was walking. And I was like, leave me alone. Let me have this time to myself. And instead of being an understanding partner and saying, okay, look, she's hurting right now. She's going through it, and be like, what do you need? I'm here to support you. It's more like you're berating me, you're stalking me. And people were literally pulling up asking, is this man following you? And I'm like, it's just my husband. He won't leave me alone. I even had a couple people ask me, women, hey, I'll get in my car. I'll take you where you need to go. And I wanted to. I so to God wanted to get in the car and just ride off with these women and have them drop me off at my apartment. At the same time, too, my phone was dead, and so I didn't think that was smart. But they were just worried. They saw this man following me. He was literally walking everywhere I was walking. He would not leave me alone. He looked angry. He looked mean. He didn't seem concerned. And then when I did finally stop and talk to him, it was like the frustration. Then he started recording me. Look at her laying on the ground. Look at her doing all this. And it was just like, how much more humiliation can I get from this situation? Because I am literally falling apart. Like, falling apart. I had no shoes on. I was deranged when I look back at that. Like, completely deranged woman. So, to an extent, I can understand why he was really concerned. But the way he went about his concern just did not help my situation. And then I finally came home. I was smelly. I was sweaty. I laid in the tub full of water with my clothes on. I was just crying. And I'm just trying to find my way out of this place. And when you're a highly self aware person, this can also make the situation even more dramatic than what it is. He ended up calling the cops on me for a welfare check because he was concerned that I was going to hurt myself, which never hurt myself, didn't do anything to hurt myself. I was laying in the tub. I remember I locked out of my room. The cops are knocking on the door asking me if I'm okay. I'm like, I'm okay. I don't need you guys. Yada yada yada. They end up leaving because there's nothing they can do. They try to get to the door, but I wasn't hurting myself. I was literally laying in a bathtub full of water with full clothes on. Okay, y'all, like just completely having a mental breakdown. And so when I finally did come out the room, and I'm crying and I'm trying to express myself again, sometimes not what they say, it's the body language. It was annoyance. It was like frustration. Like, I don't know what to do. He took my baby to my mother's. I was like, why would you do that? And mind you, at this point, I've only had the baby like 2 weeks ago. So I'm still fresh into this postpartum craziness, okay? And it is crazy. Like, I felt like I was in a fucking movie. Like, when I look back on this, I'm like, that was not me. You know, like, disassociation, like, that was not me. But it was me. It was what I was going through. I was literally breaking down. And when I say, like, your body does die when you give birth. So, like, I lost a lot of parts of me once I had my baby. And then having the first night where I had to take care of her, I couldn't get up, I couldn't walk because I had a C-section, and he's knocked out cold, sleeping. And I understand you have a job, but guess what? I worked full time too while I was fucking pregnant. I worked 8 hours a day, and I still had to cook, clean, take care of the kids, take care of his ass, give him some sex, give him some attention. And then, to say, oh, well, you could have asked me to cook. You could have asked me. Why do I have to ask for these things if you see I'm struggling? So the first night that I had the baby, I couldn't get out of the bed. I couldn't do anything. My legs were coming from being unnumbed. He was knocked out. I'm hollering him, hey, I need the baby to be fed. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Luckily, the nurses are there, but it's still like your partner. You want your partner to be as helpful as possible. So I was frustrated. I was angry. I was starting to resent him. I was starting to feel like, why did I have this baby with him? Like, this is absolutely insane. So, anyways, after I come out of the room again, and I'm trying to cry to him, I'm pleading to him, telling him, like, I don't feel right mentally. Basically, he gives me the ultimatum. He says, either you're going to go to the hospital or I'm going to divorce you. He was, mind you, when I told him I wanted a divorce and I threw my ring at him while I was having my mental breakdown, he threw that in my face. He was livid. He literally reamed down on me. And I'm not going to go into the details of that, but he reamed down on me and it just made me feel even worse. And so now here we are in the car because he had to get my dad to come. And my dad, he came in with love and care and was like, Jasmine, we just need to go to the hospital and figure out what's going on with you. Like, I just want your well-being. That's how you handle somebody that's having a complete mental psychosis, right? My partner wasn't doing that. I'm in the car with him. He said, oh, well, you don't go, divorce. So I go to the hospital. Now, I didn't think anything was going to come from it. I talked to the doctor. They get me back there. We talked to the doctors. I'm just telling them, like, look, I am tripping. Like, I'm having these weird thoughts, seeing these weird images, hearing these things, but, like, I don't plan on hurting myself or anybody. I'm just like, is there a therapy or something that can help me? At the hospital, I'm not going to tell you what hospital it was. They was wrong. They sent me to the back. They brought somebody in. I told them exactly what happened in the situation. My husband was there. Told him exactly what was going on, what transpired. And then they proceed to say, okay, we're going to get a doctor to come in and talk to you. That's not what they did. Next thing I know, they come in and say, ma'am, we're taking you to a trauma center. My husband blew up, was angry. What? You can't take her. But you brought me here. It's too late now. I have to go. I have no phone or anything. They tell me the facility, which I will not tell you, but I will tell you it's on South Cobb Drive in Marietta, Georgia, or Smyrna, whatever you want to call it, Marietta, Smyrna area. And so we go. Now, I was under the pretension that, like, this was going to be a place where they're going to help me through my postpartum. I was going to get the help that I needed, yada, yada, yada. I'm in this nightgown, the hospital garb. They put me in the van. I have no phone. I have no way of contacting anybody. I had to write down numbers. And my husband's tripping out, like, now he feels bad. He feels guilty. But guess what? I'm like, you put me here. So I go to this facility. It was the worst experience of my life. To be called a trauma center that's supposed to help women who are going through trauma is not what it should be called. It should be called a fucking prison. They treated us like prisoners. The staff was disgusting and rude. I get into the intake and I'm put into a room. I sat in this room for 6 hours, you guys. No lie. 6 hours. Nobody told me what was going on. Nobody told me when I was going to see the intake specialist. They brought me some food. I sat in this room. Didn't know what time it was. Didn't know what my kids were doing. It was horrible. Finally, they see me. I meet some people in the hallway. Now, some of these people were literally mentally not right. And my heart goes out to all of them. Some people were literally there for suicide attempts. Some people were there for drug overdose. Some of them were self-admitted because of their drug problems and street problems. Some of them wanted to get off the street. So finally, they say, okay, we're going to take you to your facility. So I go into the women's trauma center. Nobody greeted me. I had no idea what I was doing. They handed me like the little like paper clothes. So I put the paper clothes on. They were like, you can't go in your room until this time. Like, it was strict. You had to get out of bed by 7. You had to be in bed. I think it was by no later than 9. Shower was at 7. And during the rest of the day, you were not allowed to be in your room. Now they're supposed to have programs and activities for us to work through whatever we're going through, and supposed to see the doctor or you're there, whoever the psychiatrist they put on you. Man, I sat there for days, not knowing what. I felt like I was in an episode of Girl Interrupted. Okay, like, that movie, it hasn't changed. What's going on in those facilities has not changed. The nurses were rude. They were mean. They seemed like they didn't want to be there. Shout out to a couple of the nurses that were amazing human beings. Like my girl Crystal, I still talk to her here and there on social media. I ran into her not too long ago, and she finally left that place because she was like, those people don't care the way that I cared. Crystal also came from addiction and things like that, so she understood us women. Pretty much all I did was color all day, watch game shows, watch people freak out. I mean, some of these women were really, really in bad shape, and they just needed help. They needed help. And it wasn't, I was there for postpartum. I think I was the only one there for postpartum. Everybody else was there for drug addiction, suicide attempts, and things like that, mental illness, like schizoaffective. So I learned a lot about mental illness in that process. We had these two pay phones where we had to call out. We had to have a number in order to call out. You only get 30 minutes, but we were able to arrange, the group of women I was with, we were able to arrange and work out how long somebody could be on the phone, when somebody else needed the phone. And then the staff would not answer the phones when people were calling in. And it was so bad. We complained so much that literally an advocacy agent came in to speak to us about the treatment. They weren't getting our food right. Some of us had, certain meal requests because of dietary needs, and they didn't even make the food, and they didn't make the food. So then guess what they said? Oh well, you won't get to eat tonight. Like, there was a pregnant girl in there, and they didn't make any of her dietary needs, and she literally was starving. Like, we were giving her our food because I was like, makes no sense. And I was very vocal. I'm thankful to have. I had a roommate. Her name was Cookie. May she rest in peace. She transitioned shortly after she got out before me. She got out 2 days before me, and I got out. And then about a week or so later, I found out that she had died from a heart attack. And I ended up going to her, what's it called, memorial service. I met another friend. Her name was Leah. We're still cool to this day. We talk on Facebook, and we just talk about how much we survived this traumatic experience because they were supposed to help us. They had no programs. We did a couple of programs where we had to like go work out or whatever. But other than that, for a majority of the day, we sat around coloring, talking to each other, which, mind you, the conversations were limited. You couldn't say certain things. They had a board that showed you all the things you were going to do, like the therapy classes. We didn't have any of those things. We were yelled at most of the day. We were monitored. Uh, couldn't go in our rooms unless you had doctor permission to take a nap, which Cookie figured out a way to do that. At night, me and Cookie would lay in the bed and talk about when we get out of here what we were going to do different with our lives because, I mean, gosh, it was just such a horrible experience. And I remember at one point I was breaking down because I missed out on my kid's first day of school, which I've never missed out on. My daughter was on, like I said, like around 2 weeks old, so I wasn't even around my baby, and that was really affecting me. I remember Crystal saying, "Jasmine, take this as a vacation." I was like, "What vacation is this?" And now when I look back on it, man, I wish I would have took it as a motherfucking vacation because I needed it. But I was so worried about my bills and all that, which everything was fine. I didn't have my phone, I couldn't contact anybody. Shout out to my two best friends, Kiera and Mele, because they called me to make sure I was okay. I cried on the phone to them. Kiera came up there and visited me, which was a hot fucking mess too. And she almost got into it with the nurse about how they were treating us and the people that were coming to visit. At that point, I started smoking cigarettes, y'all. I was going outside to smoke cigarettes because I was inside all fucking day. And when you go outside, you can't even see outside. All you can see is the sky, the way the facility is made. So we were just going outside smoking cigarettes. I remember this one awesome moment where we were playing TLC Creep. Our nurse played it on her phone, and we were all out there singing it. Oh, no, not Creep. We were singing Waterfall. Don't go chase. And I was like, yo, we are literally in a movie. This is a movie. This cannot be real. Like, I had to treat it as if I was being filmed. I found myself kind of being the vocal person in there and supporting all the other women, because at that point I started to humanize and humble myself because I realized other people were going through it much harder than I was. And I found myself constantly being a motivational speaker, talking to them, uplifting them. When they were breaking down, coming to them and saying, keep it together, because the nurses see you breaking down, they're going to keep you here longer. trying to figure out how long I gotta be in here. Shout out to one of the nurses who actually told me the paperwork that I need to do, what I need to request when I sat down with my psychiatrist and to get out of there. I think 3 days into it, I finally started taking the medication because I was like, shit, if I'm gonna be stuck in here, I might as well be high, right? The medication made me high as a kite. They put me on all kind of fucking shit. They actually put me on Zoloft, which that was interesting. I mean, getting off of that was interesting because I really didn't need it, but I needed it at that time, I guess. Anyways, it was just a traumatic experience. And I think I mentioned in my last podcast how I happened to have to deliver Instacart order there, and the wave of emotions that hit me, the trauma, because I guess I had to compartmentalize that and suppress it because I knew what I experienced, but I ended up compartmentalizing what I had just went through, and I kind of blocked it out. And so coming there, which brought back all of these emotions, it was insane. And anyways, I remember the day I got out and I walked outside and felt like, wow, this is what the world looks like. I feel like how people feel when they go to prison. You know, you've been locked up for so long, you don't even know what's happening. I remember I wanted seafood. Beyonce was getting ready to come, so I damn sure was going to be at that concert. I had to get out of there, girl. I had to get out of there. You hear me? Because I was going to go see Renaissance Tour, okay? And surprisingly, I guess because my husband felt bad, he had bought me 2 tickets to the Renaissance. Where's my home? My best friend Melly came with me, and we had a blast. But I was still so out of it because I was still on that medication. It was still weaning out of my body. It felt so surreal. Even when he picked me up, the reaction that he had, he was so happy to see me, but it was just so disconnected. And again, he wasn't treating me in the way that I needed to be treated after coming through such a traumatic experience, which was with care. It was more like annoyance and responsibility and duty. Like, oh, I got to make sure you're good. And then trying to give me everything that I was looking for because, yeah, he had to take off of work and he had to experience what it's like to take care of 3 children, including a newborn, all by himself. And he said, yeah, I realized how hard it was. But he also violated my space several times when I was in there. He blamed me on the phone for being in there. Other things transpired while I was in there that I found out afterwards. And it was just a lot. It was a lot. And as a mother, as a mother, this is not an easy job. And I feel like society does not give us the respect. They always want to highlight us as superheroes, and that's great. We are superheroes. I mean, we are the divine feminine. I mean, what our bodies can do, how we're able to multitask, care, lead, do all of these things. That's why we are woman. We are whole as woman and man. We essentially do so much, but we are always looked at as being strong, and nobody's ever really looking at us and say, hey, do you need help? It's not easy being a mother. And we're starting to see that narrative change a little bit now, and we're seeing more empathy and understanding towards mothers, but we're not understanding postpartum. We're still missing the mark with that. There's still not enough education on it. And I think that's something men should definitely go through. If their partner is pregnant, they need to go through a class or understanding, even if it's online for 15, 20 minutes, to understand what postpartum does to the woman's body and the mind. Okay? It was just the craziest experience, man. Like, ooh, I was so happy to get out of that motherfucking place. You couldn't say less, and I never want to go back, and I never want to send anybody there. And I have friends who work in the healthcare and work in, mental institutions. Pretty much what it was. They tried to call it a trauma center, make it sound special, but it wasn't special. There was nothing special about that at all. That place was ghetto and fucked up. Okay, so that was my adventure of postpartum. So when my friend is telling me about her friend, I really got offended. And I was just like, for me, somebody like that who does not have an experience, and I try not to speak on things that I don't have any understanding or experience with. But when somebody who I know does not have experience in something and they try to tell me about it, I tend to stop the conversation right where it's at. Like, no, I don't want to have this conversation with you. And I think it's okay. It goes back to boundaries because I'm not about to be pissed. You're not about to piss me off. Because even if I didn't have kids, I have friends that have kids and they are amazing fucking mothers that bust their ass every day to make sure their kids are good and everybody is good, putting themselves last all the fucking time. And I'm going to say this out loud. As mothers, we need to stop putting ourselves last. Because without us, the kids, the husband, the house, everything does not hold together. As as Beyonce said, ran by the man, but the woman keep the tempo. Baby, upgrade you. Okay, let me upgrade you. But let me upgrade myself first. And that is why I created Jenna Marcella. Because I have realized, like, I'm not pouring into myself. And even if I only get 10 to 15 minutes out of the day to do that, I'm going to do that. And I find the best time to do that is when I'm getting ready, because we take that for granted. That's why I created the spiritual baths. When my kids are asleep and I can go take a bath, I sit in there and I cry and I connect and I say mantras and I read my scriptures and I do all of these things that connect myself with my highest self, which is closest to God. Okay? And I recharge myself, because, guys, we're like cars. We need oil changes. We need tune-ups. We need a new battery. We need a little jump start. We need fuel. We can't just keep running nonstop, trying to prove that we are these amazing mothers. I used to try to not cry in front of my kids and do all that other shit. I stopped doing that. My kids watch me break down sometimes because I am human. I am literally navigating 3 little people's lives, including my life and then other people in my life. And then you're telling me that I need to just stick it out and suck it up, and this is what you chose to do. Yes, I chose to be a mother, but I also did not choose to abandon myself. And neither should you. Postpartum is real. I never thought it wasn't real. I had just never experienced it. So I didn't know what was hitting me until after it hit me. And I didn't realize how long it was going to linger. It affected my job. I was super sensitive and emotional. I ended up getting fired because I was just so erratic. And then on top of that, my husband wasn't creating peace in my home. My home was not peaceful. So I was also struggling with that, and it was heavy. It was heavy. And thank the Lord, I am out of it. And if you're struggling out there, my heart is with you. Mental illness should not be something looked upon as negative. It's exactly what it is. Illness of the mind. And it should be looked at, and you should figure out ways to help yourself. Even now in my days when I feel overwhelmed and stressed out my kids, I tell them, I'm overwhelmed, y'all, overwhelmed. And they know to back the fuck up and leave me the fuck alone. Okay? Even if it's me driving off to go eat some ice cream at 10 o'clock at night by myself in a car, smoke a J, whatever, I'm going to do that. Right now, I'm actually going to go. I rented a hotel room. I asked my mom to watch the kids. I didn't tell anybody why I was going, because if you tell them, they're like, oh, well, I'm not going to watch the kids. So I just said, hey, I got a friend's birthday party to go to. I'm going to go get me a hotel room, and I'm going to spend 24 hours to myself in my room. No phone calls, no bothersome. I might go out for a little bit, enjoy some scenery, but I'm just going to enjoy sleeping in a bed and enjoying myself, especially in my current situation. I'm living at my dad's house on his couch with my kids living in makeshift beds. Yeah, I'm going to take some time to myself, because I have to, in order for my kids to have the life that they want, I have to build my life. And I have to focus. And thank God for my Janet Marcella spray, my Relax With Me. It helps me to calm and think about what I need to do. I have to do these things for myself, because if I don't, I'm going to lose my mind. Okay? Completely. And I think as mothers, as women, we need to make sure we're taking care of ourselves. We do. It's just important. It's just super fucking important. I focus on my money management, all of these things. And also, too, there's help out there. The government help. They try to make you feel like you're doing something wrong. You're a welfare queen because you're looking for the government assistance. But hell, I needed the assistance. I'm out here doing Instacart, trying to pay for food, groceries. Child, I'm stressed out. Now I got food stamps. Let me tell you what I figured out with food stamps. I get $720 a month for food stamps right now. And I figured out that if you spend $15 a day, that's about $465 in meals. Okay? And full hearty meals. Because if you can go and make a meal for $15, which is easy to do, it's very filling and full, then I have a couple other $100, $300 some more dollars that I can use to buy snacks and the things that they need. And I just feel so proud of myself. I'm over here paying to get my car fixed so I can have a car. And these things I could not manage before because I was so all over the fucking place. Getting out of a job that was stressing me out, even though I got fired. I'm not ashamed. At first I was. It was embarrassing because I don't even think they understood the level of postpartum and that. Just because I got out of the facility doesn't mean that I was cured. I still needed help. And that Zoloft, no, I didn't need that. It wasn't for me, and I weaned myself off of it. It was definitely stressful and painful. I just knew that I needed to change my environment. I knew that I needed mental therapy, an actual therapist. And I knew that I needed to change the way that my marriage looked, my household looked. And I'm thankful that I found a way out by walking the fuck away. Because I just realized that it's important to have a partner that's supportive on all different levels. And because I wasn't receiving support from him, I wasn't giving support to him either. Because I'm like, how dare I constantly put myself last just because you're paying all the bills? I mean, shit. I was paying all the bills at one point. I was working full time. I was fully pregnant. I was doing everything. Nah, she good on that. I ain't doing that. Not no more. Okay. So, yes, postpartum is a bitch, okay? And if you don't deal with it and you deny it or you ignore it, it will continue to affect your life. It affected my life for at least a whole another year afterwards, not realizing I was still struggling with postpartum. That's the education that I failed to learn. But I am so thankful for where I am today. I have been through so fucking much. Y'all, I done survived suicide. I done survived drug addiction. I done survived like living a reckless life, just waiting to die, basically. And we'll get more into that on another episode of Unpacking. But I have survived so much to not continue to keep pushing forward. Okay, my story is not linear to anybody else's. It's not unique. It's not something so special that makes me better than anybody else. It's just my story. It's just my story of where I am and who I've become, and it's definitely made me the woman that I am. And what I've realized is peace over everything and happiness. And what does that look like to you? Ask yourself, what does peace mean? Okay, because for me, peace was not arguing every day, having 2 good days in the marriage, and having a whole week of arguments over dumb shit, or trying to mama somebody else's broken ass son. I ain't got time for that. Shit, I mama myself. I'm not your mother. I'm your wife. And I think it's another thing too is the roles that we play in all of this. Like, fuck them goddamn roles. You got to sit down with your partner and come up with an agreement that works best for you and your partner, or else I'm telling you, one person is going to fucking crack. Okay? And I was cracking at the seams every fucking day and not realizing how much it was affecting my whole entire life. Now, I am still legally married. We have been separated for 8 months, going on 9. He lives where he lives. I live where I live. I am pacing myself, taking care of myself, finding my mental space and peace. And then from there, once I get to a place where my nervous system is completely at peace, I will deal with the rest. And so I'm just going to leave this unpacking because, whoa, that was heavy. And I hope you resonated with this. I hope that it helps you through whatever you're going through mentally. But stop ignoring your needs, ladies, especially mothers out there. Y'all better start owning it. You are the HBIC. Know that, and know that none of this is functioning without you. So take care of yourself. And if you need to tell them kids to hell with them for a minute and take care of yourself, then do that. If you need a girls' night, if you need to just go out and have dinner by yourself or whatever, figure out a fucking way to do it, okay? And don't let nobody out here try to shame you or tell you how to be a mother, how to raise your family, or none of that, because that's what got me caught up too. Everybody want to tell me how to be. No, I need to know how to be. And part of that is also my connection and foundation with God, the Most High, the creator of all, okay? Because we are all goddesses. That's why I call myself the galactic goddess, okay? We are the bridge between life and the ethers, okay? Because we're bringing life into the world through our canals, through our vaginas, okay? We are bringing life into this world, okay? We need to honor ourselves. If nobody else is going to honor you, I honor you today. I am here with you today. My love and my heart goes out to you. And we're going to stop here with the episode because I could go on for days, baby, about unpacking what it means to be a mom, a wife, a woman in general, okay? And the stresses that we go through and the expectations and all the bullshit that patriarchy has brought upon us. And I'm so happy we are redefining what that looks like, okay? Because who is better to advocate for us than ourselves, okay, as women? And I ain't talking about those women that are disassociated from women who want to align with man's, like, philosophy. F those women, okay? Fuck them, okay? So, thank you guys for letting me unpack that ish. That was such a relief to be able to put that out there and talk about it. And until we talk again, I ask you to go like, share, and follow my content. Tell people about We Gotta Unpack This Ish podcast. My website will be coming up soon, Janet Marcella Lifestyle, where you can buy and purchase my Relaxing Me spray. I will also be having my spiritual baths on there. I'm getting back into tarot reading. I'm stepping back into my divine essence. This podcast has been amazing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just talking every episode. Like, whatever. Fuck it. Let's just talk. Let's unpack some crazy ass shit. You know what I'm saying? So until next time, it's your girl, the Galactic Goddess, Jazzy, your homegirl Oracle, and the mom that is living through the mess and is finding peace and still thriving and striving. Y'all be blessed. Peace.